Today I'm going to show you how to make these really fun fruit pop-up decorative cards. The supplies you're going to need for this project are medium weight cardstock in your choice colors for the particular card that you're going to choose. We have several to pick from. You'll want to have a cutting machine, and then you'll need to have either a scoring stylus or a scoring wheel to pair with your cutting machine. You'll want some sort of craft glue. I like to use the Barely Art brand. And then this is optional, but you may want some distress inks or oxides and a blending brush. And then you're going to want to purchase some sort of large envelope that you can slide this card into because it does fold down. And lastly, if you decide to go with a print then cut process for the banner piece, then you're going to want to have an inkjet printer. Otherwise, you can just cut it out in cardstock and have your cutting machine write on it, or you can leave it off altogether. A-Star Crafters, this new project collection is waiting for you to download in our Craft Vault. And if you are not an A-Star yet and you want access to hundreds of ready-to-make projects that you can do today for everyday moments of creative joy and special life occasions, make sure you join A-Star Crafters community to unlock a treasure trove of our resources and downloads, plus new makes with me every month. This project works best with a cutting machine. I use Cricut Design Space, but you can use various other cutting machines with this project. One thing you need to know is that after you import your design into the software, you do need to make sure that you ungroup your file, and all of these little lines that you see on the file here, you need to make sure that you click on each one and you change the operation to score, because we want to score along these lines to be able to fold. So do that with each one of these here, and then before you go to cut this out, make sure you attach the score lines to the base. So I have the base selected here, or you can select each of the score lines by holding your shift key down on your keyboard, and then select the base, and then use the attach tool at the bottom of the layers panel so that you have attached the two score lines to the base. And if it jumps forward on you here, just send it back using the arrange tool. And then do that for all of these lines that you see here, and just making sure they're score line. Now inside these files, you're going to see this banner as well. Because of the size of this banner, these letters are going to be very hard to cut out in cardstock cleanly. So what I recommend is, number one, I included this banner so that you have that option if you wish to. But more importantly, you can just delete this text and you could have your Cricut write directly on it, have your cutting machine write directly on this. Or you can get rid of this one altogether, and you'll see that there is a print then cut banner included with each of these designs as well. So for example, this one says "You're a Real Peach," and this is a PNG image that we uploaded to our cut software, and you would just need to set it to scale to match like the front of your card so that it's relative to size. And then you could perform a print then cut process just for this banner piece here. That way you're not trying to actually cut out individual little letters, which is very cumbersome. And then you would add that on, and I'm going to show you how I do that in the video. So that's the basic setup. You'll need to import, change the score lines, and then make sure you save your projects so that you never have to do this again. You can just come back, open it up, and then get to making. I am going to be using a Cricut Maker machine for this, but you can use any of the full-size machines are going to work. You could use the Cricut Joy Extra as well. And you see here that this would be our print then cut. We would run this through our inkjet printer, and then Cricut would cut around it. And then for the rest of these mats, we would just get these cut out in our choice cardstock colors. All right, so I have all of my pieces cut out here to assemble my fruit pop-up card. And this is going to be a layered project that we're going to then slide into a 3D box frame. It'll also become collapsible so that we can put it into an envelope if we want. So you're going to see all these different layers and pieces in the file. And these base pieces here are going to be what we glue our elements on top of. There is a couple of different styles included. So if you're looking for like our strawberry one, or if you have our apple one, or any of our other ones, just know that the assembly process is going to be very similar in terms of the mechanics of how you build this. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get everything aligned. So this is super important so that everything comes together correctly. So I have all of these little elements here, and once they've all been cut out, and I've used my cutting machine for this, so I'll use a Cricut machine for this. And if you need more help learning your Cricut machine and getting up and running, make sure you visit our Cricut Freedom Workshop. That's linked below. It's completely free. It'll get you started, and then you can jump into projects like this with total confidence. So I have all of my little elements here. We have cute little peaches here, and we want to make sure we're aligning everything. So take some time to line up the individual layers like so, and then to actually line them up on where they'll go here on the card aspect. And you want to get a feel to make sure that everything is aligned. Because if you don't do this, what often happens is you'll end up potentially flipping something and mirroring it the wrong way, and then it won't line up here. I'm going to show you in just a minute how I added this kiss of color to the cardstock here, which is really great to just add more life and depth to your overall design. So this step is completely optional, but I am using some Distress Oxide here to add a little bit of extra color and shading to my fruit and any other elements that you want. Honestly, the leaves or the flowers are also an option for you. So I am using Candied Apple as a darker red. I'm using the Picked Raspberry Distress Oxide, and I'm also using the Lucky Clover for some of my lighter greens. I want to add a touch of dark green to it so it looks a little bit more lifelike. So I'm just going to apply a couple of these now, starting with the Picked Raspberry. And you'll also need an ink blending brush for this. Again, all those supply resources are going to be linked below. And so I'm going to swirl my ink blending brush here, and I sort of started this one, but I'm going to make it a little bit darker. And I like to start at the edges and just lightly work my way in to have this kind of really pretty look. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one, but because this is a darker shade of cardstock, I'm going to switch to the Candied Apple one instead. I'm going to use the same brush because the pigment is very similar in color. And I'm going to add that slightly darker red on this side. Okay, just like that. A little kiss of color. It makes a big difference when you put it all together. You get something that looks like that. It's really pretty. And then you can do the same thing with the leaves if you want even those little flowers that are included in some of these. So I've got this Lucky Clover one here, and I got another ink blending brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to one side like that. And then we'll glue all of that together. Okay, so now that I've got all of that prepped, I'm going to go ahead and just work on layering things together and gluing it all together, starting with the elements first before we do the actual box assembly. So I'm going to take this here and we're going to layer each element. This one's already done, but take this one as an example. You're going to see a few different layers. Again, make sure you've checked your alignment. And I'm going to grab my liquid craft glue for this. I'm going to use the Barely Art liquid craft glue here. It's a great precision craft glue. It's a very strong hold. We'll add a little bit of glue there. And then flip this over and get it aligned with the other layer. And same thing with the leaf here. And then these entire layered elements will also go onto each of these card pieces that are going to become part of that 3D pop-up. Okay, so we have that there. And let's repeat that for these other elements now. All right, so the next step here is we want to fold our tabs along the side and make sure you're folding in the correct direction. So you're going to want to grab this front piece here and the back piece, which in my case happen to be different colors. I had run out of this brown to match it, so it's going to look a little bit different, and that's totally fine. You can follow me, or you can make sure that the front and the back piece actually match, but you get the logistics here. So this is going to be the front facing piece here. So we're going to need to bring this forward. So fold this end forward and fold this tab forward like so. We're going for a box here, basically a square. I'm going to fold this tab along the side towards me as well. So it's kind of standing up like that. And then this piece here, you're going to see the notches, which are on both of these here, little notches. And those are just going to act as guides, basically, and a little bit of character to the side of the box. But we want this to be at the front, the smooth to be at the front, and the notch side to mirror the other edge. So it's going to look like this. Okay. And before we actually glue those together, we want to actually add these in first. It's going to make the box actually close a lot better. So you just want to get these folded the right direction and make sure everything is aligned. And then you're going to set this piece aside for now. And you're going to lay this one flat and go ahead and fold along each of these as well. These tabs on each side. All right, and so you'll see these come in a progressive order, right? So this one's the most, or this one here is the shortest of them, and this is the tallest. So you'll see that when they're together like this, you want to make sure you build in progressive order. So taking the shortest piece here, that's going to be your first one, and you're going to add glue along this tab right here, and you're going to just align it with that little notch. And the notch there is not meant to hold anything. It's just meant to be a guide and a little bit of touch of character on the side of our card. You can just use them as a reference point more than anything. And so I'm going to align my edge. I'll give you guys a close-up of this. Make sure you're looking at the bottom. Is it straight along the bottom or is it a little crooked? That's important. So there's how my alignment is. You can see my tab starts right in line with that little notch. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing for each one here. So take the next one. And you're going to align that. Again, make sure it's straight along the edge there. Just like that. And our final one here as well. So now we've got it connected to one side here. It's going to kind of stand up a little bit on its own, and we can go ahead and then connect this tab to the front, and we'll take this around and then we'll tack it on the inside. You could also lay this down flat if you wanted to and align these notches here. I find that a little bit tricky because the alignment can be hard to see. So I like to do this alternate method that I'm about to show you, but I just want to let you know that that is an option as well. So I'm going to get this kind of positioned back here. So it's standing up. And then make sure your fold is going the correct direction here. Okay, so with the smooth side along the top. And I'm actually going to lay this down and glue this on. And again, I used a different color here. So just bear in mind that yours can be the same color, brown, as the rest of the exterior. But I kind of like that there's a fun contrast here. Think about like wood crates and those kind of things. They generally are never one seamless color. There's different shades in it. And then we can connect one at a time like this. So we can add glue to this first one here. I'm going to align that. All right, and I'm going to add some more glue here on this tab. I'll slide that into place using that little notch as a guide there. And then we have this back piece here, and we need to just complete the final tab to close the whole thing. All right, so once that's had a chance to set, you'll also be able to lay this down and see how we flatten it here. And it can go either direction. And this will allow it to actually slide into a large envelope so that you can send it to somebody. And so now we need to complete the top part of this here. And that's with these final elements. So I'm going to glue this piece on first. I'm aligning it with the bottom there. Just like that. And then this piece is going to go over the top up here. And then finally, you can add your little banner piece. So in the file, you're going to see a couple of options. First, you can just cut this out. You could write on it. You can have your Cricut write on it. You can write on it manually with a pen for yourself. There's also a image option, so a PNG image, where you can print this out and then you can, cut it by hand or have your Cricut machine or your cutting machine cut it. I'd recommend having your cutting machine perform like the print and cut process for this element. It's just so much easier not to have to cut out individual little letters in paper. Having it all flattened together into one printable image that your Cricut just cuts around is going to save you a lot of headaches. So that's what I've opted to do here. And you'll see those options in the file included as well. And I'm going to just glue this down. You can glue it kind of set up at the top. You could do it more at the bottom. I like it towards the top because it's just easier to sort of see when it's standing upright. So flip this and I'm just going to place it slightly down from the top. Just like so. Okay, just like that. And here is our final peach fruit pop-up card. It is super, super cute. So you're going to see that when it's standing upright, that everything kind of has a depth to it, right? So we have like our peaches here in the front, and then this row, and then this row. Now, if you look at it from the top, like this, you're going to see that there's gaps because we're looking at a different angle. If you prefer not to have those gaps, you could cut out more of these peaches and just glue them along these ridges. If you want it to be extra full, if you don't want to have any of those spaces, then you could absolutely do that. Totally optional. But I like to call that out because I did that with a couple of my other ones that I tested, and I really liked the fullness of it. And then you can collapse this entire thing and it will go right into an envelope to where you can send it to somebody. And then it's a beautiful decoration they can keep for themselves. It's also, if you wanted to take off this banner or change what you might have on the banner, you could use these as table centerpieces too. So if you were doing like a party that maybe had some sort of strawberry theme or peach theme or summer theme to it, these can make great table decorations as well. And you could make them very versatile between a card option or a table decoration option. So here's a look at a couple other ones we did. I have a bushel full of apples. This one's super fun. Also collapses to go into a large envelope card. Makes a great table decoration as well. Would make a great teacher gift also. And I have a strawberry version too. Super cute. Says you're the berry best. So lots of cute little strawberries. And this one also collapses. So what do you think of our 3D fruit pop-up cards? I would love to know. Make sure you check out our supplies and resources below this video. There is also a full collection of these that you can find for A-Star Crafters. There's a link below for you. You can download all of these files and cut them out yourself. And I would love to see your creations too. So make sure you tag us on social media, share in our Facebook group. I can't wait to see how your fruit pop-up cards turn out. Thanks so much for watching, my friend, and bye for now.